Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey Combs. Tuesday, 2-for-Tuesday. Commitment consciousness is the topic for today's Facebook Live. As I look on the graphic that Henry Cloudkey put together for me, it looks like an audience of 1,200 people in January of 2015. So that's the background with the graphics, commitment consciousness. What unique times those were. Welcome everyone. This is Jeffrey Combs, President and Founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated, year 25 of ownership of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated, a California corporation started in 1998. Matt Smith and Tracy Calvert, welcome to 2-for-Tuesday. I hosted event number 3 of Millionaire Blueprint. Sandra, good to see you this afternoon. So I hosted Millionaire Blueprint over the weekend. What an amazing event, 31 attendees. For those of you who have attended Breakthroughs to Success before, you'll remember what the energy of the room was like back in the day. I hosted 127 Breakthroughs to Successes, 10 breakthroughs 2 and 3. At those events, I had Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I also had John Assaraf at times at some of those events. Phil Cheatwood, good to see you this afternoon. Lynn, good to see you. Tracy, John McFadden, and David Harris. But last year, I reinvented a 2-day event and titled it Millionaire Blueprint. I now have a little momentum as I'm now into number 3. Number 4 will be this year in December, and that will be December 15th and 16th, right there, 2003. I believe you can purchase a half of the ticket today online. It's a 2-part purchase. You purchase $500 down for the ticket and $500 when you attend the event. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, the pictures were exceptional. Lynn Ann Maury is on today's Facebook Live. She was an attendee, and she has given several testimonies for it. The topic for today's Facebook Live is commitment consciousness. Now, those of you who are craving a live event and you want to be in an intimate event, I spent 2 days with my fellow speakers, Josh Moran, Jonathan Mason, Josh Waxman, on what is required to be able to let go of the payoff, the brain chemistry of fight or flight, what is required to move into a state of consciousness called the physiology of truth, right there in the book, Transcending Levels of Consciousness, right there. To transcend the levels of consciousness, let go of the anxiety, fear, and doubt. To be able to transcend the consciousness is to be able to separate your feelings from the events that shape them. This will begin to improve who and what you attract. The vendors, the contractors, the soulmate, the teammates, the producers, the people that begin to surround yourself in your life from your morphinogenic field. The morphinogenic field is your field of energy, and that's Rupert Sheldrake content from the 1920s and 1930s. That's the field of energy that you are transmuting. And when you're in a relaxed body, when you're in the know, when you're in the now, then you're able to answer questions without thinking about it. I showed a picture on a PowerPoint of a table full of money, and I asked the room how much money was there, and I asked one of the participants, Ted, how much money was there, and he said the answer, 10,000. Now this it looked like a sheet of $100 bills, and he knew that not by guessing, but by knowing. That is consciousness. When you're in the know, you know, and you don't doubt what you know, and you are here and now. When you have been conditioned to validate, justify, and explain yourself, then you go into a story. As you change your story, change your life. As you let go of your anxiety about the outcome that isn't there. Ted just joined us. Ted, I just edified the fact of when I asked you how much money was on that PowerPoint, and you knew because you know. And when you know, then you don't know, and then your sentence structure is filled with clarity. Many people confuse directness for clarity. Directness is driven by anger. Clarity when you're in clarity and you're clear, you're in higher consciousness. And that consciousness is power. It doesn't come from force. It's not transmuted from anger. It's from relaxed energy. It's from joy, love, relaxed consciousness in a very, very relaxed body. And in that energy, you're in a place called charisma. You're in joy. You're in love. You're in bliss. And you'll attract your reality more frequently in a higher alignment, people that you can be in business with, people that you can be in life with. There's not nearly as much force, and you're in your power. John Wegman, good to see you this afternoon. John was also a participant over the weekend with Ted and Lynn. So thank you for being here on today's Facebook Live. So commitment consciousness means that you have the ability to commit. This is from the email that I send out for this specific call, this commitment consciousness. Commitment is a word, commit and commitment is a word that is seldom used in the English language. Seldom does it show up in sentences, yet the people that use commit are committed. So there's a difference in energy between a commitment and an interest. When you're committed, you're in. When you're interested, you're out. When you're interested, you're behind the window. When you're committed, you're on the other side of the glass. When you're committed, you're focused on the results, the solution. When you're interested, you'll spend more time on the problem. When you're committed, you're focused on the details. You're focused on the results. You're focused on the outcome. When you're committed, you go to bed in relaxed energy. When you're interested, you're overwhelmed. You're worried. You're not really in, and you're testing it out. And that's unfortunately where most people live. They're interested, they're not committed. And when you begin to insert the word commit in your communication style, in your sentence structure, it changes the physiology of your truth. It takes you out of denial. It takes you into the know. Because when you're committed, you'll find the answer. When you're committed, you find the solution. When you're committed, you're focused on the result. One of my clients flew from Medellin, Colombia today to Miami to negotiate a project with one of his vendors that owes him 7 figures. And his objective was to leave that office in Miami, Florida with a check. That was his commitment. And he and I spoke about that, and he was going to ask for that commitment. Now, whether he receives the commitment, that's going to be between him and the negotiation table, but he definitely went into that communication committed, and that's how he is, and that's why he is a multimillionaire. That's the way he lives, it's the way he operates, and that's why he owned multiple businesses at 37 years old, because he's skilled at mastering his emotions while mastering the moving parts of being and staying successful. Started out as a teenager in phone rooms, came to one of my first events in 2014, hired me as his coach. I've been his coach for the last 5 years. It's been amazing to watch his growth and his results. And some of that will happen for you as you become more commitment consciousness. You live in commitment consciousness as you become committed. Many people live in commitment, they're commitment phobic. And this shows up in abandonment, rejection, failures, non-successes that many people perpetuate over and over. On the syllabus for today's Facebook Live, number 1 is the commitment factor. And you want to ask yourself, am I committed? And so you commit one day at a time. You commit not to relapse. You commit to be and stay sober. You commit to not be critical of yourself today. You commit to exercise. You commit to follow through. You commit to your laundry. You commit to wiping your sink down. You commit to being your best self one day at a time. And you begin to use the word commit, committed, and commitment in a sentence structure. You write it out. You look at it. You become more committed. You write it on a Post-it in blue ink, black ink, red ink, green ink. But you start to become comfortable with being and staying committed. You follow through. You finish. You close. That's what being committed is. And the more committed that you are, and the more committed that you stay, the energy, the physiology, the communication, the transmutation of your energy begins to transcend. And the more that you're commitment conscious versus commitment phobic, gradually you'll see a shift and a change in the who and what you attract. And when you're committed, people feel you. They feel that commitment consciousness. They feel your charisma. They feel your swag. They feel your posture. They feel your energy, and you bring that person who's committed brings a cool, quiet, calm energy to the table, to the dance, to the event, to the field, to the experience. And when you live in that commitment consciousness, you will see that more people are able to commit. Now, you will still encounter the people who are commitment phobic, and occasionally you'll be able to address that with them and let them go. But as you're committed, you'll attract more frequently, in alignment, more quality, like-minded success seekers who are also commitment consciousness. The reason that many people don't commit is because they have a story. They hold on to a story that perpetuates their payoff. The payoff is recreating the same situation over and over to fulfill familiar feelings that keep you recreating the same situation, that keeps you avoiding, procrastinating, keeps you in disappointment and frustration. That is the payoff. And that's why most people don't commit. They're afraid that they will fail. They're afraid that they'll have to be responsible. Then their communication style is filled with, I don't know. I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I didn't follow through. I don't know why I didn't. So that's the I don't know takes them off the hook. By not knowing, it keeps society in denial. And then with the trauma-based mind control that's happened for the last 200 plus years, specifically going on for the last 4 years, where it's been escalated, turned up, the oscillation of it is at a much higher frequency. Well, more people quit easier than ever before because of how much trauma they've endured. If you've lived in a lot of trauma throughout your life, it's definitely going to affect your brain. In December, on the 16th, on the second day of this 2-day event, Millionaire Blueprint, one of the speakers is on today's Facebook Live. His name is Josh Moran. Now, I've seen Dr. Joe Dispenza, John Assaraf. I've seen Dr. Joey Paleo. I've shared the stage with world-renowned neuroscientists. The content that Josh delivered this last Saturday on the vagus nerve, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, the prefrontal cortex, how the brain operates, the long-term trauma, the effects that long-term trauma has on the brain. Josh Moran delivered the best content I have ever seen in my life. He will be a keynote speaker at my event in December. And it's imperative that you understand why you do what you do. Why are you commitment phobic? Why have your relationships failed? Why have you failed at business? Why have you failed to execute? I mean, these are the questions that you want to ask yourself. When you look at your bank account, why is there so little resources there? Well, this is a direct reflection of your commitment phobic situations. Why do you have so many challenges in being able to commit? Well, it's a very common commonality that affects people around the planet, around the globe. They're commitment phobic. As you become commitment conscious, you become the law of the few. You become the one man or one woman who can stand the gaff. You can pony up, cowgirl up, cowboy up. It means you're not afraid of commitment. You can step into your power. You're not worried about the outcome that doesn't happen. You focus on results and solutions when you live in that commitment consciousness. You live in much shorter sequences and days at times. And you put back-to-back days together, knowing the outcome. You don't know how, but you know now. And you know that somewhere now that the results will show up. People show up, and you live in a much higher level of truth, and you understand the physiology and the psychology of truth. When you are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings, you're in acceptance. Acceptance allows you to access courage. Courage is the door to consciousness. It allows you to turn the handle, open the door, and step across the threshold without worrying about what's on the other side. This is why so many people don't commit, because they're uncertain of the outcome. Their certainty is based on being dependent on avoiding success. And when you depend on avoiding success, you get the outcome you sought to create, being disappointed. Now, even though that pill is challenging to swallow, until you let go of the denial of why you do what you do, and you step into the power of what you're capable of being and doing, then you will continue to perpetuate the same situation over and over. And then I hear it every day. I'd like to hire you, but I don't have the money. You don't understand, my situation's unique. I want to come to that event, but the ego finds ways to sabotage. The ego makes excuses. The ego doesn't commit because it would contradict everything the ego has learned about procrastination, avoidance, frustration, disappointment, low self-esteem, anxiety, fear, and doubt. Yet here you are, you're right in the middle of the best opportunity you've ever attracted, but you have challenges preparing and executing. You can prepare, but the execution portion is what challenges so many people because of their commitment-phobic identity. And as you begin to let go, the separation between the feelings and the events that shape them, as you begin to let go of the self-talk that's the self-limiting belief, as you begin to let go of the anxiety, fear, and doubt you hold on to, as you let go of your story, you're beginning to change the biology of belief. You're starting to change your belief system. But there's a chemistry to that belief that's part of the brain chemistry of trauma. And as you begin to address that, as you're able to change the breath cycle, let go of the anxiety about the outcome, as you have a better understanding of how mind-body connections operate, then you spend less time in overwhelm. You spend less time in doubt. You spend less time medicating an addiction. You spend less time worrying about the outcome that hasn't happened, and you spend more time on results, the solution, and being your best self. Colleen, good to see you this afternoon. Susan, great to see you this afternoon. Stan, good to see you here this afternoon with me on Facebook Live. The topic for today's Facebook Live is commitment consciousness. We're at the halfway point of July, which means we're already halfway through the calendar year. We're 5.5 months left in 2023. Are you committed to this being the breakthrough year for you? Some of you, I've watched you do it. You've changed companies, you've changed careers, you've let go of relationships, you've stepped in and accessed your higher power. You're in the physiology of truth. You woke up, you saw the forest for the trees. You have a better understanding of what truth is. You're not intoxicated by people. You're much more in the know, in the now. You're focused on results and solutions. You're beginning to attract your reality like-minded success seekers. They begin to show up. They show up because you're committed now. You can't attract a producer until you're committed. And you begin to let go of relationships that are disempowering. You have better boundaries. You're able to address relatives who use guilt to try to control you. You're able to be here and be now. You're able to separate your feelings from the events that shape them. In your word is law. You begin to change the way you communicate. You become commitment conscious so that you are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. So right here is the dates, Millionaire Blueprint, right down there, December 15th and 16th. Colleen Olitsky, you've been in that room many a times. I recreated that room over the weekend, what used to be Breakthroughs to Success, which is now Millionaire Blueprint with three exceptional speakers. We cover insurance products, quantum physics, brain chemistry, brain fog, letting go of the feelings that keep us doing the same situation over and over. There's a course on money at that event, and there's a course on letting go, separating the feelings from the events that shape them. I believe that event is online and is available for pre-purchase. It's a half ticket. You pay half of the ticket up front and the other half when you attend the door. The core group of speakers that I've attracted and the chemistry that the three of us create is amazing. So that is available. If you are seeking to raise your vibration, improve your energy, separate your feelings from anxiety, fear, and doubt, you can begin that right here today by committing. You commit to yourself to be your best self. But most importantly, in that commitment consciousness, you begin to understand what that means. It means there's no more cheat days. There's no more chocolate stashed in the closet. There's no more sneaking, no more hiding. You become fully available. It's full disclosure, full truth. You're no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. You're breathing, releasing, and letting go. You're here and you're now. Dorothy, good to see you. It was awesome to have you at the Millionaire Blueprint. Dorothy attended her first event with me in 2002, back in the day in Stockton, California. And in commitment consciousness, you begin to develop clarity, a vision that's clear about the outcome you seek. You're able to attract your reality, quality, like-minded, then you fill in the blank, success seekers, teammates, vendors, contractors, soulmates, people whose word is law. What I watch is I watch the way people speak to me. When people commit, and I can tell they're not really committed, I'll get back to you. Yeah, let me think about it. I promise I'm going to hire you. I mean, I've heard this in the thousands of times over a 25-year career. I heard it several thousand times as a 10-year direct salesperson. I heard it another 10,000 times selling yellow page advertising. I hear what people mean, not what they say. I can tell the people who are committed because they do it now versus the people who future tense it. Yeah, but don't you think? Yeah, well, no, I don't think, I feel. And I feel that a pathological liar is a pathological liar because they're commitment phobic. And the people who are commitment conscious understand they either create the outcome, they create the solution, and they attract to their reality a higher quality person in this occlusal alignment in higher consciousness. And if that is you, I would be honored to be your coach. If you'd like to speak to me, send me a direct message and I'll respond. You have a free half hour. Actually, I have 35 minutes. I'll be coaching the rest of the day. I'll be back here online at 9 p.m. Pacific. Jeffrey Feldman said, great event this weekend. That is awesome. Several of the attendees from the Millionaire Blueprint are here today. Thank you very much, everyone. You have an outstanding day. Once again, if you would like to speak to me, reach out. I do have a 24-hour coaching package, and I also offer a free 20-minute coaching session if you would like to speak to me for the first time. I'll be back here 9 p.m. this evening. You have a great afternoon.